Dear learners, welcome you all to the learning platform. Now we are in week 4. This week we will learn the summary in detail of the Riders to the Sea, the JM Siege. Me, Faisal Ahmed, with you throughout this lecture. Faculty member, Department of English, World University of Bangladesh. Let's begin. First of all, we introduce once again the characters in the play. The one-act play, Riders to the Sea. Maria, grief-stricken widow and mother of 8 children. Kathleen, Nora, Bertley, Sean, Seamus, Stephen, Pat, and Michael. So Maria, the chief-stricken women around whom the whole story revolves. And in fact, the grief and tragedy of the family which is living near the beach or coastal area in Ireland. So this story about the tragedy of the family who lives on sea, going to the sea and fishing in the sea. Kathleen, Maria's elder daughter, tries to keep her mother from dying from grief by identifying her deceased brother Michael's clothing. Nora, Maria's younger daughter, helps her sister with their mother. Bertley, Maria's youngest and only living son, has died by the end of the play. So this family has lost all their male members at the end of the play. So that's the tragedy. And in the 18th and 19th century, females of the family completely depended on the male members of the family who earned the livelihoods. And female only maintain the inside of the home, and they engaged in cooking, washing, and breeding the children. Maria's sons, Sean, Seamus, Stephen, Pat, and Michael, as well as Maria's husband, are all deceased when the play begins. There is also a priest character who is never seen but is quoted by Kathleen and Nora in the beginning of the play. Summary in detail. Riders to the Sea takes place in the kitchen of a cottage located in the Aran Islands to the west of Ireland. As the play opens, Kathleen, a girl of around 20, is attending to household chores. Her younger sister Nora enters carrying a cloth bundle, affirming that Maria, their elderly mother, is in the other room lying down. Nora presents the bundle, which contains clothing that may belong to their brother Michael, who has not returned from a voyage on the sea. So here is the map of the island. The neighboring country is the United Kingdom. Okay, and in the coastal area, this family, Maria's family, lives. And all the male members except Bertley die before the beginning of the play. So only their last hope is Maria's youngest son, Bertley. and he also died in the sea at the end of the play. The two girls worry about the storm brewing outside since their last surviving brother, Bartley, intends to go on the sea that day. They decide not to open the bundle in case Moria comes in, since they are worried about her reaction to evidence of Michael's death. Kathleen hides the bundle just before Moria enters, and Moria inquires about Bartley's whereabouts. Moria declares that Bartley will not go to the sea today due to the storm, but Bartley soon comes in to prepare for his voyage, and his mother's attempts to dissuade him from leaving had no effect. Bartley begins to instruct Kathleen on how to do additional chores, such as taking care of the sheep, now that their brother Michael is gone and Bartley, the only man left, will be out on the sea for several days. Once Bartley is gone, Moria cries out that he will die by nightfall. Kathleen chastises Moria for her pessimism and for not giving Bartley a blessing. But then she realizes that she and Nora forgot to give Bartley his bread. She sends Moria to catch Bartley before he leaves and give him both the bread and her blessing. Kathleen and Nora quickly investigate the stocking from the bundle while Moria is gone. They identify it as Michael's and mourn his lonely death on the sea. The silent, frightened Moria returns, still holding the bread, and begins to keen, unable to answer Kathleen's questions about Bartley. Finally, Moria reveals that she has seen a vision of Michael's ghost riding behind Bartley, and Kathleen begins to keen as well, interpreting the vision as an omen that Bartley will die. Moria then reflects on the deaths of all of the men in her life. Nora and Kathleen hear a crying out by the seashore. All women begin to enter the cottage in mourning. Kathleen wonders if they have found Michael, and she gives Moria the clothes from the bundle as proof of his death. However, one of the women affirms that it is Bartley who has died. He has been thrown by his horse into the sea, and his body is brought in by other townsfolk. In a trance-like state, Moria sprinkles holy water and sprays over Bartley's body, implying that she will die soon now that all of the men in her life are dead. So now Act 1 summary, one play. So now the The part before this one was a general summary, and now the specific summary I'm going to tell you. There's act on summary in detail. The play is set on an island west of Ireland, opens on a kitchen inside a cottage filled with nets, oilskins, and cooking tools. Kathleen, a girl around 20 years old, is kneading dough and spinning thread when Nora, her younger sister, asks the whereabouts of their mother, Maria. After Kathleen tells her that Maria is lying down, Nora presents a bundle that the young priest has given her, containing a shirt and stocking from a drowned man in Donegal, who may be their brother Michael. The wind blows open the door, spurring Kathleen to ask Nora if the young priest will stop Bartley, their last living brother, from going on the sea in such a storm. However, the priest had assured Nora that God would not leave Maria with no son living after all of her prayers. Kathleen decides that she and Nora will not open the bundle yet in case Maria walks in. Hearing Maria stirring in the other room, Kathleen hides the bundle in the turf loft and throws stuff down to feed the oven in which bread is baking for Bartley's journey. Upon entering, Maria declares that Bartley will not go on the sea in such weather, stormy weather, and that the young priest will surely stop him. Nora tells her that the priest will not stop him and that Bartley is determined to go. A sad, quiet Bartley enters and quickly asks for the rope, which Kathleen had hung up to prevent the pig from eating it. Maria attempts to keep Bartley from taking the rope, as they might need it if Michael's body washes up. She then reflects on the injustice of having paid so much for the white boards to make Michael's coffin, since there's nobody to bury yet, and Bartley dismisses the idea that there's still a chance of finding Michael's body. As Bartley uses the rope to make a halter for his horse, he instructs Kathleen on taking care of certain chores once he is gone, though Maria is skeptical that Kathleen could do either. Maria questions how she and her daughters will live once Bartley is dead, and continues to try to prevent Bartley from going out onto the sea. Kathleen firmly tells her it's the life of a young man to be going on the sea, and Bartley lives. Maria despairingly cries out that she will have no son left her by nightfall, and Kathleen rebukes her for not giving Bartley a blessing and sending him out with an unlucky word behind him. Realizing that they have also forgotten to give Bartley his bread, Kathleen sends Maria to bring the bread to Bartley before he is gone, and while she is at it, to give him his blessing. Nora gives her Michael's old walking stick to steady her, and Maria sadly reflects on the irony of the young leaving things behind for the old. With Maria gone after Bartley, Kathleen and Nora have the chance to look through the bundle. Cutting through the knots, they take out the bit of stocking. After counting the stitches in the stocking, they realize it must indeed be Michael's, for Nora remembered dropping 4 stitches while making it. They are overcome with grief at the knowledge that Michael has drowned, lamenting that there is nothing left of his body but a bit of an old shirt and a plain stocking. Kathleen hears Moria coming back up the path and decides that they will not tell her about the proof of Michael's death until Bartley returns from his voyage. The girls busy themselves, and Moria comes in slowly, still carrying the bread. Kathleen questions Moria about what has happened as she begins to keen to wail in grief. Weakly and fearfully, Moria reveals that she has seen Michael. Kathleen softly contradicts her, telling her that his body is after being found in the far north and he's got a clean burial by the grace of God. Moria tells her daughters that as she tried to say God speed you to Bartley, the words stuck in her throat. She then saw Michael in fine clothes and shoes, riding behind Bartley on a grey pony. Kathleen immediately begins to keen, believing that this is an omen of death for Bartley, and Nora clings to the young priest's promise that God would not leave Moria destitute. As Moria, grief-stricken and oblivious to her surroundings, recounts the ways in which her son's husband and father-in-law had died on the sea, Nora and Kathleen hear someone crying out on the seashore. Old women begin to come into the house and kneel down. Moria asks Kathleen who has died and wonders how they would know if it was Michael after being so long in the sea. Kathleen declares that it is indeed Michael and shows her mother the clothes from the bundle. However, it is in fact Bartley who has died. More townspeople enter the cottage and Bartley's body is carried in on a plank with a bit of sail covering it. One of the women tells Kathleen that Bartley's horse knocked him into the sea. The women who have gathered in the cottage begin to keen. As she anoints Bartley with holy water, Moria speaks aloud to herself of how there isn't anything more the sea can do to her. Despite her prayers, the sea has taken her last son, and she now will have a great rest. Kathleen reflects on how old and broken Moria has become, and Moria prays for the souls of her sons and of everyone left living in the world. Moria then declares that it is everyone's fate to die. Everyone's fate to die in the end, and that we must be satisfied in any situation. So the life of human being is really very fragile, whether they live in inland or near the coastal area. And this family living near the coastal area shows the reality of life, the true nature of life. But they always fight with death. Though the people living in inland, inside the land and far from the coastal area, normally forget the death. But they also meet death as well. So death is inevitable for everyone, whether we live in a safe area or we live in a coastal area which is very harsh and which is destructive and destroying and very uncertain for our life. That's the end of the lesson of this week. Thank you very much for being with me, and bye-bye. Talk to you with new lesson in the next week.